Woo. Back. Fin last. What mile mark is this? Mile 9. Got that last 4 miles to go. Yeah, last 4 miles or so to go to this easy 30-mile meditative jog this morning. Happy Tuesday. One love. Yeah, so I'm turning around. My turning around place. So I got about 3.5 more miles, and I'll be done with this easy 30-mile meditative jog this morning. You know, and today I was just contemplating a lot of things. Yeah, I remember I was just thinking about how after my fender bender with a car when I was doing my stunts, when I first started walking, it literally took me half an hour just to walk a mile. So it took me like almost 3 hours to walk 3 miles. And I embraced it because I was in so much pain. So I had to really take baby steps, which I did. I had to really take that baby step, you know. And meditation and yoga helped me a lot because I learned how to be patient with myself. You know, to walk a mile in half an hour is absolutely frustrating if you do not understand the body. You know, but for me, that's what I was doing for a long time. You know, when I first started back jogging, running after my fender bender. So to see that thing drop to 15 and 12, 15 and 12 is absolutely amazing, because it just shows you what the body can do. But it's with a lot of hard work. You know, we're talking about every single day coming out, you know, and can you imagine every time you go out, it takes you half an hour just to do a mile. And it's really funny because I'm looking like, what the biscuit? You know. And then it went 3 hours just to do three miles. And I'm like, but I was just determined. You know, I come out every day. There was the time I was actually walking 5 miles a day. And I truly did it. I used my own thinking, my own intuition to heal my body back into running. And that's why I always say to people, if you truly want to run a marathon and you've never run one before, in 7 months, I can remind you how to do that. 7-8 months, definitely. You know, because I did it myself. I mean, to say that this time 4 years ago, I can barely walk 3 miles, let alone. And it was really funny because a lot of people that know it then, people were just, but one thing I never stopped doing, even when I was just doing 2 miles, walk every day, I still post it. I still share it because I'm looking at it. I'm just so grateful that I could do 2 miles. You know, because that was the first time. Let me stop and do my shoes. That was the first time I took 30 days off not running. And for me, 30 days of not running. And since then, the longest, you know, during this injury, what I was trying to recover was 20 days, you know, 10 days just to rest. But 30 days of not running was absolutely bananas for me. But I walked every day. There was a time I was doing 2 miles, you know, just the same way I'm doing right now. Instead of 13, I was just doing 2 miles. Yeah, I was just doing that. It's really amazing. You know, I would do 2 miles every day. You know, so in 7 days, I was literally doing 14 miles and which is what I do almost in one day. But I went back, I took that baby steps. I started from just walking 1 mile, and I knew, because my goal was, okay, I got to run another 100 miles, and I'm gonna beat her up again. So there was a time I did 6 miles every day. For 3 straight months, I would just walk 6 miles. And I began to build up, did 10, 12. Then there was a time that I went to just jogging 26 every single day. That was really, it was tough. I was in a lot of pain, but that's what I had to do. Then I went to 50 every 14 days. And that's how I build the whole body back up while I do yoga, Like up to last year, I think I was doing, every 10 to 12 days, I would do like a 52-mile jog, 52-mile run. Because it was like the second stage of the recovery. And that's what I literally did. I literally pushed my body. Literally did. And I'm saying this because the yoga and meditation made it easy. Because I was not frustrated when I was just doing 2. Can you imagine every single day I would just do 2, I walk 2 miles and that's it. And and that's what I like about this whole Facebook thing. You can go back to memories. Like literally this time 4 years ago, I knew I was gonna run again, but I was excited for the challenge because the fact that I went from running a marathon in 2.5, 3 hours to walking 3 miles in 3 hours. And every humbleness in my body comes into play because I've seen both the financial and the physical setback of life, and it just makes you laugh. But at that moment, all I have left was just my mind. Look at that beautiful place. And I use my mind. I get up every morning, do the same yoga in pain. And that's when I started to write to my body. Whatever is painful in my body, I use my left hand. I literally write to it. I need that energy back. Because my whole body at that moment, I made it that God. So I wrote to my body every morning with my left hand because that side of the brain was also sleeping. So I literally had to learn how to write with my left hand again. And I kid you not, I did it. I did it. So that's why this year when I started jogging, it took me 3.5 years to heal back this body. I studied everything about the body. And one thing I did realize is when it comes to the human body, to distress, you cannot worry. When you're trying to heal that body, you truly have to be in that moment, or else whatever pain that you're going through in that body will never, ever, ever disappear. You understand the true meaning of let go. The whole thing behind all this Buddhist philosophy will make sense. Especially when you don't take no drugs and you just decided I want, because after that car hit me, that was painful. I took those narcotics once and I said, no, I can't do this. And literally use my own mind to heal my body. At that moment, I stopped thinking about money, everything. I was really focused. I was literally laughing my head off the day that I went outside and walked 3 miles and it took me 3 hours. I would have been done the marathon and eat. But the beauty of this mind is it can heal anything. And that experience is what I use in the yoga. And especially this thing called yoga that people talked about and we take for granted. Your body can literally heal yourself. And I think the only person in your body that cannot heal itself is your feet, I think. Because I had to study these things. I become my own therapist. And that's one of the reasons I think physical therapists should be making a lot of money. And I mean a lot of money because I did it by itself, and that thing is 8 hours a day. That's how much training I had to do, for the past 3-4 years. All I've done, then there was a stage that 5 hours of my day is on yoga. Like literally I spent 5 hours doing yoga, and I never saw any result in my body, but I can feel in my senses that something is coming true. That's just how amazing it is. That's how you know that we are nature. And I truly, truly just healed it. And I can barely do 1 push-ups. My body was so jacked up, I couldn't even open a water bottle. When I want to open something, I have to wait for people to come around me before I get it open. But I was just so determined that, I'm going to run another 100 miles. And for 2 straight years, and that's why when I look right now, when you go back to all this history, look at this history. On Facebook, it will tell you, this time last year, I was barely doing 2 miles. That's why I laugh when people put a comment. When do you have time to do all those miles? You're putting in some serious miles. But when I was doing those 2 miles every day, and I was only doing 14 miles a week, not once did I get a comment like that. Not once do people ask me, even my friends, that why are you running so much? But I had to go, because I said to myself, I want to run another 100 miles. I have so much passion for that biscuit. It just does something to me. 100 miles. I'm inspired by a woman, the way they push out the baby, carrying the baby, getting pregnant. So every time I think about that, I just want to go out there. I know I can never do what a woman does, but just that feeling of that running those 100 miles, it's just absolutely amazing. And it's almost something that people can never understand, especially if you've never done that. Because I watch a lot of, when you have the time, just watch ultra marathons, people that run it. And for me, what's so crazy is the people that do ultras don't look like me. So it makes me a foreigner among others that look like me. And which really brings me to humanity, because sometimes in this life, despite our history and what has happened, you are better off hanging out with somebody that has something in common with you. Sometimes in life, if you are waiting for somebody that looks like you to have something in common with you, you're going to be a miserable person. And that's why intellectual reading and knowing the truth is so important. If you are looking for somebody that looks like you to do the same thing like you, you're going to be a miserable person. For me, loving ultra running means I have to step out of my comfort zone. I just love 100 miles. In the black community, I'm looked upon as crazy to want to run 100 miles. It's like there's something wrong with this Negro. And I get that, and because for me, 100 miles means I find God. And that's why each time I'm running, jogging, I'm training for another 100 miles, because you have to be absolutely honest about it. Running has to be every single day of your life, to participate in 100 miles. It is just the most amazing thing. I cannot even explain it. And that's why I'm able to heal my body after a car accident. Because I knew I've run that 100 miles before. I've seen a woman push out a baby. I don't care how jacked up this body is, I am going to heal it. And I did. I did. So when you go back to 4 years ago, this time 4 years ago, I saw one of the things that I post. I can barely walk 4 miles. So I did. So the human body I've studied. And therapies, big up respect, because man, I had to do mine. I spent 8 hours every single day stretching my body. Can you believe that? 8 hours. 8 hours on me. I don't even have a choice. That's how I heal my body. 8 hours. So that makes me realize, brothers and sisters, whatever you are unique. So I'm excited this morning, and can't wait to share this journey. I'm gonna say one love and happy Tuesday. I'm just so overwhelmed, excited, because I never thought I would walk again, but a half of me says, no, you are gonna walk again. It's just gonna be mother biscuit painful. And here I am. We lie. One love.